Hello everybody, it's September 11th, 2016, and welcome to another comic book haul video. I know it's been quite a while since I posted my last video, just been busy with work and just been kind of lazy to be honest. I have been posting some books up on Comic Book Fanatics Facebook page, but I definitely want to get back to making more videos. I really enjoyed making videos when I was doing it weekly, and I've really been enjoying all your videos as well. So I'm going to try to, make sure I have a video up every week, if not every 2 weeks. So that's my promise to you. But during the last few months or so, I have accumulated a lot of really cool books, probably too many books to show in one video. So what I did was I picked out a few interesting books, which I got during the last month or so to show you guys. Plus I have a stack of books, which I picked up from Baltimore Comic Con last week that I'm excited about as well. So let's get to the comic book haul because I have a couple stacks I want to show you guys and I don't want this video to run too long. So the first book I got for you guys is Marvel Tales with Tails. Peter Porker, Spectacular Spider-Ham #1. You have the first appearance of Spider-Ham, Hulk Bunny, Goose Rider, Captain Americat. Just kind of a fun little campy book to have in the collection. Nothing super rare or expensive, but not the easiest book to find in the dollar bin as well. So really happy to find this book. Now continuing with the Spider-Ham theme, I was also able to find this book as well. We have Peter Porker, Spectacular Spider-Ham #12. Really one of the more difficult 25th anniversary cover books to find. Out of all the 25th anniversary books, I think that the only ones I'm missing are Care Bears and Heathcliff. But I got, some of the more difficult ones like Spider-Ham and Muppet Babies. But really, I'm really love the 25th anniversary border covers, so definitely trying to collect all of those. Another 25th anniversary border cover that was hard to find, Ewoks #10. It's a Marvel Star book, just like the Spider-Ham book, and one of the reasons why these books are hard to find is because they're Marvel Star. I mean, these books are for kids, 4 or 5-year-olds, and a lot of these books are written in, used for art projects, thrown to the wayside. So not too many out there, but fun little campy book to have. Alrighty, now getting some more serious books. We have Swamp Thing #50. I guess you can call this the official, unofficial first appearance of Justice League Dark. I know there's a lot of controversy within the YouTube and Facebook community with regards to what is the first appearance of Justice League Dark. This book has kind of ridden the hype train recently with the news of, I know we have a Justice League Dark animated movie, and then we're going to have a live action movie hopefully coming in the future. But I see, vendors, people on eBay trying to sell this for $30 now. It's not an uncommon book by any means. I wouldn't pay more than $10 for it. And if you look long enough, if you search through enough long boxes, I'm sure you'll find one for cheap. Okay, the next book that I picked up, we have Marvel Fanfare #10. This is for all you cover chasers out there. So for us, this is for you. Awesome George Perez cover right here. One of my favorite George Perez covers ever. But you also have the first book of a 4-part series featuring Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, where she's kind of on this espionage spy mission with S.H.I.E.L.D., trying to find her long-lost friend. It's not a bad story, but it's not an amazing story as well. But you hear all this talk about a possible Black Widow movie in the future. It's possible this could be a storyline that they adapt. Who knows? Next book I found, we have Action Comics 595, the first appearance of Silver Banshee. Yeah, some awesome John Byrne work as well. But like the other book, this is not an uncommon book whatsoever. You'll find a lot of near-mint, high-grade copies of this book out there. Again, this book caught some heat when she first appeared in Supergirl on the television show. But, if somebody's trying to charge you $20 for this book, pass. You can find this book easily in the wild if you look long enough. I wouldn't pay more than $10 for a near-mint copy. But still, awesome cover, cool character, Silver Banshee. Was happy to have it. Next book I was able to find, we have Suicide Squad #1. Of course, this is a book that kind of held off on for a few months now because it kind of, it was riding the hype train as well with the Suicide Squad movie and wasn't willing to pay the, $30, $40 dealers were asking for. Because like the other books, this is not an uncommon book. There are a lot of these out there. But it's also nice to have in a near mint, high-grade copy with this black cover, which I was able to find. Just a gorgeous cover. Next book I was able to find, really happy to find this. It's kind of beat up, but a good pressing would take care of it. Move it into the VF Plus range. We have What If #1. What if Spider-Man had joined the Fantastic Four? You have the first appearance of the Fantastic Five. But if any of you have read the story, you know that the Fantastic Five doesn't last very long. Sue Storm, when Spider-Man actually comes on board and it's kind of left at home to kind of take care of everything at headquarters, and she's left out of the fight. She kind of feels alienated and actually leaves the Fantastic Four and actually falls in love with Namor and leaves the Fantastic Four for Namor to live in his kingdom. I know, Frost, you love Namor as well, so you have something in common with Sue Storm there. All right, next book I was able to find, we have Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man #27. Of course, this is the first Frank Miller Daredevil right here. Of course, Frank Miller's synonymous, not just the Dark Knight, but also Daredevil as well. Just beautiful piece of art right here, so happy to have that. Kind of going on with the cover themes, one of my all-time favorite covers of all time. We have Mike Zeck's G.I. Joe #63. I love the Punisher. I love Kraven's Last Hunt. I love his Cap run, his Deathstroke run, but I love me some Mike Zeck G.I. Joe. So I'm really close to completing this one right here. Happy to have this book in the collection as well. Definitely going to have him sign him next time I see him at a convention for sure. Another G.I. Joe book that I was able to find, we have G.I. Joe #21. This is the silent issue. Again, I wouldn't pay more than $20 for this book. I mean, they are out there. I know a lot of dealers charging sellers for like $50. No way I'm paying $50 for a book like this. But still, if somebody, has a high grade copy for $20-$30, I take it all day. All right, next book I was able to find, we have Alan Moore's Watchmen #1. Of course, everybody's familiar with Watchmen now after the movie came out, but you have the first appearance of Rorschach, first appearance of Night Owl, Silk Spectre, the Comedian, probably forgetting Dr. Manhattan, probably forgetting some other names as well. Kind of surprised I didn't have this in the collection, but I was able to find two. Keeping this in the collection for sure, but I have another copy available for trade if anybody's interested. Now, next book, I was really happy to find this awesome graphic novel right here, Akira #1. We have Otomo's Akira. Just an amazing, amazing sci-fi punk story, this post-apocalyptic Japan story right here. If you're not too familiar with Akira, this was first published, I believe, in Fun magazine in the early 80s in black and white. And it was first brought to America in this book here, published by Epic Comics, subsidiary of Marvel. And interestingly enough, when Otomo first brought this to the States, he was kind of iffy about printing this in color. He really felt that the black and white theme really added to the story. But Marvel was able to convince him to publish it in color because they felt like, their readers would prefer a color story. And they produce a beautiful copy right here, Akira #1. And if you guys love anime, you guys should definitely check out. I believe I don't know if it's from 1988 or 89, but the anime movie that came out based on Akira, excellent, excellent anime movie. Alrighty, next book I was able to find. We have Marvel 2-in-1 #61, the first appearance of her. Definitely out of all the three books that are prominent to her first appearance, this is probably the least desirable. Huge print run on this book. Like I said with the other books, if somebody's trying to charge you $20-$30 for this book, run away. You can find this no problem if you're patient. If you look long enough, you'll be able to find it in a $5 bin if you're persistent. All right, the next book I was able to find, this is a little tougher. This is a little more expensive. This is Incredible Hulk Annual #6, the first appearance of Paragon, who becomes her, or who is her, who actually later turns into Aisha. She's going to be in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Square-bound annual book, so a little more difficult to find in a higher grade. I was able to find a high-grade copy here. Not really too certain what the print run on this book, so I'm not sure if it warrants the price that it's going for right now, but it's still staying at that steady price, unlike that 2-in-1 '61. Still going for quite a bit if you have it in a high grade. So really happy to have that in a high grade myself. Alrighty, next book I was able to find, we have Deadpool #1, the Joe Kelly, Ed McGuinness one. Definitely this is it's not the first appearance of Deadpool, but it's the first appearance of Deadpool as we know him, from the movie, from all the Deadpool books that have come out since this book. This really was the book the ethos of Deadpool that, added to his wacky, crazy ways. So, a lot of people credit Rob Liefeld as the creator of Deadpool, but in my opinion, I think in a lot of other people's opinion, Joe Kelly definitely deserves a lot more credit than he gets for Deadpool. Alrighty, the next book, really happy to find this. Been seeing this all over YouTube. We have The Joker, #1. A little iffy in terms of condition, but like the other book with the pressing, I could probably get a nice, 7.0, 7.5 out of this. I know Marky316 is looking for a run there, so I'll definitely look out for these books for you, man. But really happy to have #1 in my collection. Really gorgeous cover. Alrighty, another classic cover right here. We have Superman 233. Classic Neil Adams cover right here. Of course, I'm sure you're all familiar. This is probably, even though this is a classic Neil Adams cover, it's probably one of his least favorite covers because it's, in his words, anatomically incorrect. If you look at this, or if you look at his left leg, or on our right here, how it just stretches out right there, and it's not quite natural. But the rest of the cover is really stunning, so it kind of draws your eye away from it. But really happy to have this. And another tough book to find. Really awesome Kirby art right here. We have Thor 165, the first appearance of him. Now, I know this book exploded when there was all the speculation that Warlock was going to appear in Guardians of the Galaxy. A little disappointed because Warlock is an awesome character. Love Jim Starlin's run in Strange Tales and in Warlock's solo title. But this is the time to get this book now that, that it's confirmed that he's not in the movie. The prices are going down a bit. I know that Fantastic Four 67 has really plummeted in price. It's really affordable right now. This is probably the most expensive out of all the quote-unquote first appearances of Warlock. Out of all those books, this is probably one of the more tougher, harder books to find. So happy to have that. Now, I believe that's all the books I accumulated over the month. Let me get to the books I picked up at Baltimore Comic Con. Got some really awesome books. Guys, if you haven't been to Baltimore Comic Con, I can't say it's quite San Diego because I've never been to San Diego Comic Con. This is easily one of the top 3, if not the top conventions in the country. It's definitely the best convention I've been to in the East Coast in a long time. It blows New York Comic Con out of the water. All the Wizard Worlds, of course, all the Wizard Worlds suck now. I mean, they're terrible. All the conventions that are run by ReedPop, they're just, you get usually, maybe 10 vendors if you're lucky, and the rest are a bunch of toys, t-shirts, a bunch of nonsense that I don't really care about. But Baltimore Comic Con is a straight up comic book convention. And everybody knows, the artists know it. You always get great artists that come to this convention because they know this is a real comic convention. So let me start off with some of the books that I picked up. I was able to meet Mr. Eric Powell at Baltimore Comic Con, really an awesome guy, and he had a few of these available, so I picked these up right away. I was only charging $10 each for these books, so it was a no-brainer. We have Hillbilly #1. Of course, have credit Frost for this because, of course, according to him, he introduced the whole world to this book, but really happy to have this. I really didn't want to pay the $20 that vendors and shops are trying to ask for this book. It's kind of disappointed that I missed out on it when it came out because I know they're not doing really too much advertising in terms of when they're releasing the book. They're kind of keeping it secretive, I guess, for lack of a better term. But was able to get Eric Powell to sign it right here. Really a nice guy. Can't say enough about him. Really cool dude. And I got not just #1, but #2 as well. Unfortunately, he didn't have any of the San Diego Comic Con exclusives. But, that makes sense. I mean, those just fucking flew off the shelf. But was able to get Eric Powell to sign this as well. Only charged me $20 for both books and the signatures as well. So, can't complain whatsoever. Next book I was able to find. These 2 books, actually, the next 2 books I was able to find. These 2 books I got on the last day of the convention. It was kind of opportunity to make some money back because I spent a lot of money on books during the first 2 days. So, the first book I purchased was Slapstick #1 on the 3rd day. First appearance of Slapstick, who of course appears in the Mercs for the Money. Really no interest in this character. I know Gene Paulus Peter has, a soft place in his heart for Slapstick. But found it for $1. That's the reason why I picked it up. And immediately 2 days after, I was able to sell it for $15. So this is going in the mail tomorrow to a lucky buyer. But was able to make $15 back, but even more so, I was able to find this, Black Lightning. #1. I was able to find this for $10 in a nice VF copy. Just over the weekend during Baltimore Comic Con, you just hear all this news that a Black Lightning show has been confirmed, that it's coming to television. But really, who knows? I mean, really, when you think about it, out of all the news of TV shows coming out, like less than half of them actually end up happening. The Titan show never happened. That Shield spinoff featuring Mockingbird never happened. So I'm not really too worried. I sold it. I bought it for 10, sold it for 55, which I was really happy about. Because I was able to make, let me see, $70 back on all the money I spent. But that's a book I'm not really worried about losing right now. At some point, the hype will die down. I'll be able to get it for cheap again. All right, the next book I was able to find. Now, these 4 books I didn't necessarily buy. I traded like 2 modern variants for it. Nothing I was really too crazy about, but about $80 or $90 worth in books or so, maybe a little more. But I was able to get 4 awesome books for them. The first one, we have Fantastic Four, #129. The first appearance of Thundra, right here. This is kind of the Marvel version of Big Barda. But, not the most uncommon book either. You could find this out there for $15, $20 in a high grade. But something I didn't have in the collection yet, so I was eager to get. Alrighty, the next book I was able to find. I got another copy of this because I traded a couple of my other copies already, so I needed this back. We have Giant-Sized Creatures, #1. The first appearance of Tigra. And if you're not familiar with Tigra, Tigra's actually Greer Grant, who's originally the cat. Before you have Patsy Walker, who was Hellcat, you have Greer Grant, who was the cat. And in this story, you get the origin of Tigra, where as the cat, she gets in this battle and gets shot by some radioactive bullet. And she's dying from radiation poisoning, so she's taken to, I guess it is, I think they call it the Land of the Cats, or Cat World, or whatever it is. And to save her life, she's transformed into this werecat creature right here. But really awesome book. Square-bound book, so hard to find in a high grade. But got a nice copy here as well. Alrighty, next book I was able to find. Really happy to have this because this book blew up. We have Jungle Action #6, the first appearance of Eric Killmonger. I know that Michael B. Jordan will be playing this character in the Black Panther movie coming out, I believe, in, was it 2 years, a year and a half from now? Just super, super excited for that movie because it's a who's who of just amazing actors. And I think that's what really makes some of these Marvel movies great, is that they have great, great, great actors playing these characters. And if you haven't seen the cast of the Black Panther movie, it's just from top to bottom, A-list actors, Academy Award winning actors. So really excited to see how Michael B. Jordan portrays Eric Killmonger. Alrighty, the next book. This is something I was really, really excited to get. I was kind of surprised about how cheap it was listed. I took it out of the bag expecting there to be a loose staple or something, horribly wrong with the book, but it looks pretty good. It could use a pressing, but right now it's definitely in a nice, fine condition. We have Incredible Hulk #102, the big premiere issue, where his origin is retold and he gets cast out into space by Loki. But just a beautiful, beautiful Marie Severin cover. Easily one of the most underrated artists ever. I know she kind of got overshadowed by Herb Trimpe because she worked with Herb Trimpe on his Hulk run. And you really didn't notice how great she was until Herb Trimpe left to do Fantastic Four on his own. And you kind of see a discrepancy between his art from Fantastic Four and Hulk. But love Marie Severin. I have a lot of her Muppet Baby books. Love that run. But really happy to have 102. Now that gets to the last book. Now this book, I can't say enough about it. I was really excited to get this at the price I got it. Not a cheap book whatsoever. This is definitely what you would call a Bronze Age Holy Grail. Something that I've been wanting for a really long time, but just haven't had the funds, to go for it. We have House of Secrets '92, the first appearance of Swamp Thing. Just a beautiful, beautiful gray tone cover by Bernie Wrightson. The story itself by Len Wein is excellent. I mean, if you haven't read House of Secrets, usually there are at least 5 or 6 short stories in a House of Secret comic. You have, of course, Len Wein's feature story of Swamp Thing. And I believe Kirby, well, he does not believe, but he actually has a story in this as well, which is okay. I mean, I mainly prefer Kirby art than Kirby writing, but it's cool to have a book with some Kirby writing in it as well. But you get your classic damsel in distress story where this man who's been double crossed by who he believes is his friend is killed or is believed to be killed in a science experiment, gets thrown into the swamp, and now lives his life as this creature, keeping his eye on his love, Linda Olson Ridge, who he now knows is with the man that murdered him. And it's one of those classic damsel in distress monster stories where he comes to her aid, saves her, but unfortunately she has no idea it's her long lost love, is screaming, crying in tears, once she's confronted by him. And in fear and in pain, I guess, and in sorrow, he just runs away back into the swamp. But beautiful, beautiful story. Since I've read it already now, I think I've been looking all over the internet just to find where Bernie Wrightson and Len Wein, what conventions they're going to be popping up in. I know they both have some health issues, so they're not all over the place. It's a little bit difficult now, but definitely want them to sign this book. And I was definitely thinking about having Louise Simonson sign this as well, because if you didn't know, Linda Olson Ridge, this character right here, she was actually based off of Louise Simonson. Louise Simonson was the model for this character. So I'm not sure if I want her to sign it. Maybe you guys give me advice about that. Definitely want Wine and Wrightson to sign it, of course, but was thinking about having her sign it as well. And if I'm having all three of them sign it, I'm thinking about having them sign it in the inside. Such a beautiful, gorgeous cover. I don't think I want anybody writing on it. So I think I'm going to have it signed on the inside with a ballpoint pen, send it to CBCS, have it preserved, put it on the wall. But it was a huge success. Loved Baltimore Comic Con. Definitely going back next year. If you guys live in the East Coast, definitely trying to make it next year as well. But again, thanks for watching the video. Like I said before, I'm going to try to make videos every week now like I did before. But appreciate you guys coming back and watching this. So take care.